Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Please use long comments to explain coin information clearly, so we can understand it better and respond appropriately based on your comments. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, get ready to dive into a fascinating story about a truly special piece of American coinage, the 2022 United States $quarter honoring Dr. Sally Ride, the first American woman in space. This isn't just any quarter, it's a coin that celebrates a pioneering spirit, and it might just be the next prized treasure in your collection. So, listen carefully, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin is capturing attention, and how much it could be worth today. The 2022 Dr. Sally Ride quarter is part of the United States Mint's American Women Quarters program, a series dedicated to celebrating women who have made significant contributions to our nation. Dr. Sally Ride's legacy goes far beyond her historic spaceflight. She was an inspiration to generations of scientists, educators, and explorers. Her quarter captures that spirit perfectly, combining artistry with history in a coin that's both meaningful and collectible. From the moment you see this quarter, its design speaks volumes. The reverse features a dynamic image of Dr. Ride aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger, gazing toward the stars. Surrounding her are symbols of science and exploration, like a soaring trajectory line and stylized star clusters. The detail is impressive, and the craftsmanship truly honors her groundbreaking achievements in aerospace. On the obverse, you'll find the classic portrait of George Washington, a timeless feature of every U.S. quarter, but here's where it gets really interesting for collectors. The 2022 Dr. Sally Ride quarter is already stirring excitement in the numismatic community because of its limited mintage and subtle variations. Unlike many quarters minted in the millions, this one's supply is a bit more controlled, making it a bit harder to find in pristine, uncirculated condition. Collectors who treasure scarcity know this immediately. The coin's appeal. Even more intriguing are the errors and unique variants that have surfaced with this release. Coins with doubled dies, off-center strikes, or missing design elements can transform a common quarter into a rare gem. For the Dr. Sally Ride quarter, there have been reports of slight doubling on the lettering and faint variations in the star patterns. These minting errors are rare but can significantly boost the coin's value because they make each specimen unique, something every collector dreams of. If you're a coin lover who appreciates stories behind the coins, this quarter has it all: history, design, rarity, and the thrill of potential discovery. Imagine adding a coin honoring such an iconic figure to your collection, especially one that might have a rare minting error, making it even more special. Now, on to the most exciting part: how much is this quarter worth? On the current market, a standard 2022 Dr. Sally Ride quarter in circulated condition typically holds face value or slightly above, but uncirculated versions are already fetching between $5 to $10, which is impressive for a modern quarter. However, if you manage to get your hands on a coin with a verified mint error or a perfect proof version from the mint, prices can jump dramatically. Some rare auction sales have pushed these coins into the $50 to $150 range, and exceptional error coins have been known to go even higher. So, if you have a 2022 Dr. Sally Ride quarter in your pocket or collection, it's definitely worth a closer look. With its connection to an American trailblazer and its potential rarity, this coin might surprise you in value and significance. Keep an eye out for those mint errors; they could be your ticket to a valuable collectible. Top 2, we're diving into a classic piece of American currency, the 1985 United States $quarter. This coin might look like just another everyday quarter, but trust me, it holds some fascinating secrets that every coin enthusiast should know about. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about coin values, stick around because this video is packed with insights that could change the way you see that 1985 quarter in your pocket. The 1985 quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, which has been a staple of American coinage since 1932. Featuring the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse, this particular year marked an era when quarters were still struck primarily in copper-nickel clad composition, before the introduction of clad coins with altered compositions in later decades. This coin represents not just currency, but a snapshot of American life and economy in the mid-1980s. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1985 quarter stand out to collectors. At first glance, it may seem like just another quarter, but there are subtle factors that can make it rare and valuable. Condition is always a key factor. Uncirculated 1985 quarters that have been carefully preserved with full luster and sharp details are becoming harder to find. With many coins spending decades in circulation, the ones that remain flawless are highly prized, but here's where the real treasure lies: errors and varieties. Believe it or not, some 1985 quarters were minted with fascinating errors that can turn a common coin into a collector's dream. For example, some coins show doubling on the date or lettering, known as a double die error. This happens when the coin die strikes the blank twice slightly off register, creating a doubling effect on numbers or letters. Such errors are rare, and collectors often pay a premium for them. Another interesting error that collectors look for is an off-center strike. This means the coin was not perfectly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. While this might seem like a flaw, it actually increases the coin's rarity and value significantly. Plus, variations in the metal composition or planchet flaws, like cracks or clips, also add to the coin's uniqueness. For collectors, these errors are gold mines because they provide a tangible connection to the minting process and show just how fascinating and unpredictable coin production can be. If you come across a 1985 quarter with one of these errors, it's worth taking a closer look and potentially getting it graded by a professional. Now, let's get to the big question: what is the 1985 quarter worth? On the general market, circulated 1985 quarters are mostly worth their face value, which is 25 cents. However, if you have an uncirculated example, especially one graded MS-60 or higher, it can sell for anywhere from $3 to $7 depending on its condition. That's quite a jump for a coin that's been around for nearly 40 years, but the real excitement comes with error coins. Double die varieties or off-center strikes from 1985 can fetch prices ranging from $50 to several $100s at auctions. Some exceptionally rare error coins have even sold for over $1,000, especially if the error is dramatic and the coin is well preserved. It's a perfect example of how a small minting mistake can turn a humble quarter into a valuable collector's piece. If you're a coin lover, this means you should definitely examine your 1985 quarters carefully. Look for any signs of doubling, misalignment, or unusual features. Even if your coin looks ordinary, it still represents a piece of history, and who knows, it might surprise you one day with its value. So next time you find a 1985 quarter in your change, remember that it's more than just pocket change. It's a little slice of American heritage, and if it's in excellent condition or has a unique error, it could be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Top 3, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the 1965 United States quarter dollar. This coin marks a significant shift in U.S. coinage and holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. If you think it's just another quarter, think again. Stick around because you're about to discover why the 1965 quarter is so interesting, what makes it rare, and how much it could actually be worth today. Trust me, if you own one, you'll want to listen carefully and enjoy this deep dive. The year 1965 was a landmark for U.S. coins because it was the first year the mint stopped using silver in quarters and dimes. Prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver, but starting this year, the mint switched to a copper-nickel clad composition. This change was driven by rising silver prices, making silver coins more expensive to produce. So, the 1965 quarter was the very first copper-nickel clad quarter ever made, and that alone makes it a crucial coin in the history of American currency. Now, you might think a coin without silver isn't very exciting, but collectors see this coin differently. It represents a pivotal moment, the end of an era and the beginning of modern coinage as we know it today. Because it was the first clad quarter, the 1965 coin has a special status. It's the start of what collectors call the modern quarters, and many people want one in pristine condition to complete their sets, but what really makes the 1965 quarter intriguing is the presence of mint errors and varieties that have turned some of these coins into prized collector's items. One of the most talked about errors from this year is the so-called missing clad or silver clad variety. This error occurs when a small number of coins were accidentally struck on the older 90% silver planchets instead of the new clad planchets. These rare mistakes mean you could have a silver quarter dated 1965, which is incredibly rare and much more valuable than the standard clad coin. Another popular error that collectors look for is doubling errors on the 1965 quarters. Double dies or doubling on the date and lettering create a visual shadow effect, making parts of the coin's design look doubled. These doubling errors are rare and highly sought after because they are essentially one-of-a-kind variations that add uniqueness and value to an otherwise common coin. Off-center strikes also appear in some 1965 quarters. This occurs when the coin isn't perfectly aligned during minting, causing part of the design to be missing or off balance. Although off-center coins are technically errors, they are genuine mint products and usually sell for significantly more than standard quarters. For the 1965 quarter, an off-center strike with good eye appeal can be a real jackpot for collectors. Condition plays a huge role as well. Because the 1965 quarters were minted in massive numbers and circulated widely, finding one in uncirculated or mint state condition is becoming more challenging. A high-grade 1965 quarter with sharp details, no wear, and a clean surface can command a nice premium compared to those with everyday wear. So what's the real value of a 1965 quarter today? Regular circulated coins, as you might expect, typically hold their face value of 25 cents. However, uncirculated 1965 quarters graded MS-60 or better can fetch anywhere between $2 to $5, depending on the quality and luster. The market is definitely willing to pay extra for coins in pristine condition. Now, here's where it gets exciting. If you happen to have a 1965 quarter with the rare silver-clad error or notable doubling error, prices can skyrocket. These coins have sold at auction for anywhere between $200 and upwards of $1,000, depending on the rarity and condition of the error. Off-center strike quarters from 1965 have also been known to bring in several $100s if they have good eye appeal and a significant misalignment. In summary, the 1965 quarter isn't just pocket change, it's a coin that tells a story of transition, innovation, and unexpected rarity. Whether you collect for history, beauty, or value, this quarter has something to offer. If you own one, especially in excellent condition or with an error, it's worth taking a closer look. Top 4, we're shining the spotlight on a fascinating piece of American history, the 1998 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, this might seem like just another common coin, but listen closely because there's much more beneath the surface. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just curious about coins, this video will guide you through everything you need to know about the 1998 quarter, including why some examples are rare, what kind of errors make it valuable, and ultimately, how much this coin could be worth today. So, settle in and enjoy this deep dive into the 1998 quarter. The 1998 quarter is part of the classic Washington quarter series, which has been the face of American quarters for decades. Featuring George Washington on the front, this coin carries the timeless design that many of us recognize instantly. The reverse side of the 1998 quarter features the traditional eagle design, a symbol of strength and freedom that has appeared on quarters for many years before the introduction of the state quarters program in 1999. While the design itself is familiar and iconic, what makes the 1998 quarter interesting for collectors goes beyond its face value and design. The year 1998 marks one of the final years before the state quarters program began in 1999, making this coin part of the last classic series before a big change in U.S. coinage. For some collectors, these last year quarters hold a bit of nostalgic and collectible significance as the end of an era. Now, here's where the story gets even more intriguing. The 1998 quarter has been known to exhibit some rare and fascinating mint errors, and that's where the value can shoot up for collectors. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die variety. A double die error happens during the minting process when the coin die strikes the blank twice but slightly misaligned, causing certain features on the coin, like the date or the lettering, to appear doubled. This doubling is subtle but noticeable to a trained eye and instantly adds rarity and value. Another popular error that has surfaced with the 1998 quarter is the off-center strike. This is when the coin isn't perfectly aligned in the minting press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. While this might seem like a flaw, these off-center quarters are highly prized because they're genuine mistakes from the mint, and collectors love such unique examples. Off-center strikes can vary in severity, and the more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin tends to be. Additionally, some 1998 quarters show die cracks or cuds, raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin's surface caused by tiny cracks in the die or metal buildup. These imperfections add another layer of uniqueness and are highly collectible. For collectors, coins in excellent condition, known as uncirculated or mint state, are always more desirable. Since millions of 1998 quarters were produced, many were heavily circulated, and finding one in pristine condition is becoming less common. Uncirculated coins have crisp details and full original luster, making them stand out in any collection. So, what does this mean when it comes to value? Let's talk money. A standard circulated 1998 quarter is generally worth its face value of 25 cents. However, uncirculated versions graded MS-60 or higher can sell for around $1 to $3, depending on their condition and eye appeal. That's already a step above face value for a coin that's over 2 decades old. Now, when it comes to error coins like double dies, off-center strikes, or those with die cracks, the value can jump significantly. A 1998 quarter with a verified double die error might sell at auction for anywhere from $50 to a few $100s. Off-center strikes, depending on the severity of the misalignment, often fetch prices between $50 and $300 or more, especially if they show dramatic shifts and are in good condition. Coins with prominent die cracks or cuds can also command similar prices due to their rarity and uniqueness. In conclusion, while the 1998 quarter may look like an everyday coin, it holds some hidden gems for collectors who know what to look for. Whether it's the historic significance as one of the last traditional quarters before the state quarters program, or the exciting errors that make some of these coins rare and valuable, this coin deserves a closer look at. If you have a 1998 quarter in your collection or your pocket, take a moment to examine it closely. Look for any signs of doubling, off-center striking, or unusual marks that could mean you've got something special. Sometimes, the most ordinary coins turn out to be extraordinary treasures. Top 5, and last coin, we're taking a close look at a classic piece of American currency, the 1988 United States quarter dollar. This coin might look like your everyday change, but listen carefully because it hides some fascinating details that could make it a real prize for collectors. Whether you've stumbled upon one recently or you're just curious about its value, this video will walk you through everything you need to know about the 1988 quarter, the history, the rarities, and the errors that can turn a simple coin into a valuable collector's item. So stick around, because you don't want to miss a single detail. The 1988 quarter is part of the long-running Washington Quarter series, which has been an iconic feature of American coinage since 1932. This series features George Washington's portrait on the obverse, a design almost everyone instantly recognizes. On the reverse side of the 1988 quarter, you'll find the traditional eagle with outspread wings, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing strength and peace. This design was the standard before the 1999 launch of the state quarters program, which forever changed the look of U.S. quarters. But the 1988 quarter isn't just important for its design. It was minted during a period when the U.S. Mint was producing coins in large quantities, yet certain rare variations and minting errors still slipped through, making some of these coins stand out in today's collector market. So let's dive into what makes the 1988 quarter unique and valuable. One of the most exciting aspects for collectors are the known mint errors and varieties associated with the 1988 quarter. The most famous of these is the double die error. A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a misalignment or duplication in its design elements, causing a doubling effect on certain areas like the date, letters, or even parts of the eagle on the reverse. This subtle doubling creates a striking visual that collectors love because it's a unique imperfection and a rare glimpse behind the scenes of the minting process. The 1988 quarter also has some examples of off-center strikes, which are among the most sought-after mint errors. An off-center strike happens when the coin isn't perfectly aligned in the press, and as a result, part of the design is cut off or shifted. These off-center coins vary in severity, some are only slightly off, while others can show a dramatic shift of the design to one side. The more severe the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin tends to be. These coins are fascinating because they're one-of-a-kind, authentic mistakes from the mint, making each one truly unique. Another interesting error collectors look out for in the 1988 quarter are die cracks and cuds. These are raised lines or blobs of metal caused by cracks or damage to the die itself, which then get transferred onto the coin. Die cracks add character and rarity, and many collectors seek out these flawed coins because no two cracks are the same, making each coin an individual work of art. Condition plays a crucial role in the value of the 1988 quarter. Because these coins were produced in the hundreds of millions, most have seen circulation and show signs of wear. But coins that have been carefully preserved in uncirculated or mint state condition, meaning they show no wear and retain their original mint luster, are becoming harder to find and more desirable. Sharp details, clean surfaces, and strong strikes make these coins much more appealing and valuable. Now, you're probably wondering about the value. On the open market, a circulated 1988 quarter usually holds face value, 25 cents. However, uncirculated examples graded MS-60 or better can sell anywhere from $2 to $5, depending on their eye appeal and condition. While that might not seem like much, it's a nice bump over face value for a coin that's more than 3 decades old. Here's where things get really exciting: error coins. A 1988 quarter with a double die error, off-center strike, or significant die cracks can command significantly higher prices. Depending on the severity and rarity of the error, these coins have been known to fetch anywhere between $50 to several $100s at auction. Particularly dramatic off-center strikes or well-documented double die errors can even push the price higher, especially if the coin is well preserved. For collectors, this means you should definitely examine any 1988 quarters you come across with a keen eye. Look closely for any signs of doubling in the date or lettering, off-center images, or raised metal lines that could indicate die cracks. These little details can make a world of difference and might turn an ordinary quarter into a collector's gem. To sum it up, the 1988 United States quarter dollar is much more than pocket change. It's a piece of history, a collectible with rare errors, and a potential treasure for those who know what to look for. Whether you're building a collection or just curious about the coins you have, the 1988 quarter deserves a second look. Thank you so much for joining me today in exploring the fascinating world of the 1988 quarter. If you enjoyed this video and want to discover more about rare coins, valuable errors, and hidden treasures, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on future videos. Happy collecting, and may every coin you find tell a story worth sharing.